Yes, I was on the floor for the Boston Celtics coaches beating the media in a pickup game by 53 points in 12 minutes. I'll tell you how that went. Plus, Al Horford discusses his departure from Boston right now on the Locked On Celtics podcast.
Beantown, be ever ready. It's the C's. Who else could it be? What they gon' say now? Screaming like JT, Karalis. We kept the madness every game, every practice. Prime time, Depp and D White on the sideline. Raining J's, how it started, raising business, how we finished. Locked on Celtics pod, home of the winners.
Hey there, welcome back to the Locked On Celtics podcast, right here on the Locked On Podcast Network, where it is your team every day. Your team is the Boston Celtics, and I talk about them Monday through Friday. Bonus podcasts when they play on the weekends, so make sure you're subscribed. Watch this show on YouTube. The show's free. It's available everywhere. You can get into the comment section on YouTube, share your thoughts with your fellow everydayers, people who are with me every Monday through Friday. And with me, I'm John Karalis, beat writer for Boston Sports Journal. I've written a couple of books about the team, and I've been covering the Celtics for about 20 years. Today's show is brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account. Use the code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. Later on in the third segment, I have an interview with starting five director Trishtan Williams, who this is the new version of starting five. Last year it was Jayson Tatum. This year it's Jaylen Brown. We'll get an inside behind-the-scenes look. That is in the third segment, so stick around for that. In the second segment, I will talk about Al Horford's departure. He opened up to The Athletic about his leaving Boston, and really, the Jayson Tatum injury was the real trigger for him to go. But the biggest story, I didn't expect this to be the case. I thought this was going to end up being like a mailbag episode or something, but then what was supposed to be a media pickup game became like ESPN headline. In fact, I haven't even gone to the ESPN NBA page. I'm going to look at the news. Okay, the top headlines. It's not at least not on the top headlines. But they tweeted it out. It's on their Instagram. It's everywhere. I did get a mailbag question about it. What we normally do is have a media game every once in a while. We just play each other. It's a pickup game. They let us do it at the practice facility. It's a fun thing to do. We were told, hey, some of the coaches might actually be coaching you guys. We're like, okay, that's fun. That's a fun little interaction. And then Joe Mazzulla at practice on Tuesday says, I hate to inform you, but you're going to be playing against the coaches. And I thought it was like maybe a joke. But of course, Joe Mazzulla doesn't joke about that. We actually had to play the coaches for 12 minutes. And then afterwards, the media got to play each other. But for 12 minutes, the Boston Celtics coaches relentlessly pressed full court and forced, 40 turnovers, whatever it was. Just wouldn't even let us get shots off. Pressed like crazy. Shot almost nothing but threes, except for the few times that they dunked on us. And put up a final score of 57-4. I started the game jumping center against Emile Jefferson. Emile Jefferson played 3 years at Duke. Was a captain on their national championship team. I had a couple of two-way contracts with the Orlando Magic, played overseas until a few years ago. And now I'm looking at him, McDonald's All-America. And I'm like looking at him. He's only 32 years old. I'm 20 years older than him. And I'm looking at him. I'm like, okay, this is how my day's starting. All right. So obviously he wins the jump ball and off to the races. It was relentless. People like, look, man, we're the media. We love basketball. And I hope what came away from this, I hope what all the coaches saw was that we were trying. It was frustrating as all hell. I came out at one point, I had a water bottle in my hand, and I wanted to throw it at Joe Mazzulla's head so bad because I was like, what are you doing here? What point are you trying to prove? And I hope that the message that we sent was, hey, you can try and embarrass us all you want. We're still going to try because we still love basketball. That's what we are. We're the media. We still love basketball. We don't understand it the same way these guys in the NBA do. That's part of why we ask the questions, because fans certainly don't understand it the way guys in the NBA do. but we still loved basketball. And yeah, I still like to play every once in a while, even though I'm old and certainly nowhere close to my playing weight. Let's just say that. So I hope that's what came across. Everybody was trying. And we had, I think the question is, who scored the 4 points? I think Kari Thompson of Boston.com had a putback. So he snuck in for one. And I forget who else might have hit the layup. I don't know if it was Bobby Kravitsky of Forbes. I think he might have had, he might have snuck in there for a layup too. I recall getting one shot, which was a fairly contested 3-pointer that I'm not 100% sure if it hit the rim. Might have grazed the rim. Because, first of all, I only got that one shot because I felt like I had to be in the middle. They were pressing. I had to figure out a way to be in the middle of the floor. At least I had size. I'm 6'5", and I had some size. I have some strength still left, not for long, but I still have it. And I was like, the best chance we have of even getting the ball into our half of the floor was I could try to get to the middle of the floor and I could get hacked or whatever and still find somebody open and kick it ahead, and maybe we can get a shot off. So I just became like that type of facilitator. So we had no chance of getting the ball up the floor. And it was, like I said, just raining hellfire from three. And you have at least, so Emil played for Orlando. Phil Pressey, we know Phil Pressey played for the freaking Celtics. Deshaun Butler was teammates with Joe Mazzulla and went pro. God Shamgod Jr., Tony Dobbins, guys who played overseas, professionals, high-level professionals, long careers overseas, and they're all like in their 20s and 30s. And it was just, there was nothing we could do. There was just literally nothing we could do. So I think, I don't know. I don't know why Joe felt the need to put up a 57-4 game. I think they were just having some fun. I think probably because you had like Jaylen Brown watching, Jayson Tatum watching, a few other Celtics were watching. I think he just kind of wanted to be like, hey, watch what we do to the media right now. And so, hey, look, it was what it was. It was fun in a frustrating way. I certainly was probably one of the more frustrated people because my competitive nature does not allow for me to live quite in that moment. So other people were like, oh my God, I can't believe I get to do this. And I'm like, I can't believe that, like, we're not even being given a chance. I was so mad. In the moment, I was so mad. And Joe Mazzulla can confirm this. I told him flat out, I wanted to elbow you so bad. I wanted to get Joe with one of those old school elbows into the solar plexus when we were boxing out. I just couldn't catch him. I just couldn't catch the guy. He's shifty. He's fast. I was like, I was waiting for you to come in. I had one chance to box him out and he didn't crash hard. And I kind of missed him with it. I was waiting for him to come flying in because I wanted to knock the wind out of Joe Mazzulla. That's how pissed I was. And I would have done it. And Joe would have appreciated it. I know for a fact Joe would have. If I caught him with an elbow and flattened him, he would have loved it. We would probably be best friends right now. But that's how I wanted to at least send some kind of message. And I couldn't even do that. They're too fast. They're too shifty. And I wasn't going to send it to any of the other coaches. I wanted to send it to Joe. But I told him that after the game and we laughed. And he even said to me, like, I wish he would have, because Joe's that crazy. He's crazy like that. Ultimately, it was a fun day. It is the first basketball I've played in a long time. But everybody kind of like, this is 57-4 is an insane, in 12 minutes is an insane score. I told Jaylen Brown before we started, I said, we still get to ask you basketball questions no matter how bad this looks. This doesn't, you don't get to say to us, oh, you can't ask me about that. Look how bad you looked the other day. No, we still get to ask you basketball questions. So that was that. That was the media game was fun. But I am not in game shape. When I say sometimes I used to play, it was a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. My days of being effective are at least in a full court setting. Half court, I can still get after it a little bit. Full court, I'm wasting so much energy getting up and down the floor that I can't do much else. So anyway, look, I didn't expect this thing to become newsworthy. I just expected to have a fun media game, come back, answer some mailbag questions, and move on. But this it just shared everywhere. It's gone viral. I got all the lockdown hosts in the group chat asking me about it. So I figured I'd share everybody who played, Jay King, Noah Dalzell, Caleb Burton. I mentioned a few of the others who've already played. Jack Simone, who I did in frustration push to the floor, trying to foul to end the game because foul at the end of the game because he got an offensive rebound and I was pissed. So I pushed him to the floor. Like I said, a little competitive. So I do owe him that apology. But yeah, I've gotten some jokes on Twitter about like that was a flagrant one. In today's NBA, that might have been a flagrant one. But that's all right. We had fun. Let's talk actual basketball. When we come back, Al Horford spills the beans on why exactly he left the Boston Celtics. We'll talk about that when I come back. Today's show is brought to you by Monarch Money. You probably have a bunch, if you're like me and you're around my age, you probably have a bunch of financial accounts. You're trying to save up as best you can for the future. There's a retirement not too far off. You can see it through your binoculars, and you want to keep track of 401ks, investments, whatever other CDs you have. You have a partner. Monarch Money is going to help you do all that. It's an all-in-one personal finance tool. Brings your financial life together. One clean, easy-to-use interface. It's built for people with busy lives like you, like me. I put off things. I'm a procrastinator, but Monarch helps because it does the heavy lifting for you. You do take a couple of minutes just to link all of your accounts, and then boom, it gives you those data visuals, smart categorization of your spending, and you can finally feel in control of your money. No spreadsheets necessary. It's all right there, and an easy to understand app. So don't let a financial opportunity slip through the cracks. Use the code LOCKEDONNBA at monarchmoney.com in your browser to get half off your first year. That's 50% off your first year at monarchmoney.com with the code LOCKEDONNBA. Today's show is also brought to you by Game Time. Basketball season is here. Last preseason game on Wednesday. And then a week from there, Celtics open things up. So nothing beats being in the arena for those opening games. And let's be real, getting tickets is a total headache. Between waiting in queues, surprise fees, prices that jump right before checkout, it's easy to get frustrated when all you want to do is cheer on your team. That's where Game Time comes in. The app gives fans the advantage. You get the advantage with this ultimate life hack for scoring amazing NBA tickets. Fast, easy, and stress-free. I have used it. I've used it for WNBA tickets. Super easy to get seats. You can open up the app. You get great seats in minutes. What you see is what you pay. No hidden fees at checkout. You can get a seat view if you are in an arena that you haven't been to. Maybe you're on the road. Maybe you're just coming to Boston for the first time and you want to see what the views are. It's right there. They have zone deals. This is a game changer because you just pick the section. Game Time picks the seats and you save big. You can even find tickets sometimes for under $25. So take the guesswork out of buying NBA tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use the code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. That's LOCKEDONNBA, LOCKED, LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off. Swipe, tap, ticket, go. Thank you for making Locked On Celtics your first listen every day. Go check out Locked On NBA Game Night. Jake, Madison, and I will be on Locked On NBA Game Night, covering the whole night of preseason games tonight. So make sure this Tuesday night. So make sure you're subscribed to Locked On NBA. You get game night 7 days a week. You get Locked On NBA 5 days a week in the afternoons. So plenty of podcasting on one feed. Al Horford, I thought this was interesting. Al Horford talked about leaving Boston, and that was with The Athletic. And I think it confirmed a lot of the things that we were talking about when Al Horford left. First of all, I think he's kind of is like a very seamless fit in Golden State. I think he's exactly the kind of guy that they need. He kind of helps them play a similar style throughout the course of a game, not changing too much. His passing it's like an extension of Draymond Green, right? You with shooting, with actual shooting, and you don't get the same level of defense, but you get a pretty close level of defense. But you make up for it on the shooting side. The passing is right there, and he's going to be a big help to them. And that sucks for a lot of Celtics fans to see, and it sucks to hear that. This quote here, that he said there were two things here. I think the financial part was a component, but more than that, it was the winning part of it, trying to contend for a championship, which, ouch, right? He continues. I think there was a lot of things in the air. I felt like they weren't that same vision. Obviously, because JT getting hurt, that takes a big toll. So I think that point, up until then, I was staying in Boston the whole time. So there was a little bit of concern whether they'd be competing for a championship. But Jayson Tatum getting hurt, Al Horford said, look, we're not competing for a championship in Boston. They're already going to make trades. He knew that trades were coming. He knew there was a financial element to this. And once Jayson Tatum got hurt, he says, up until then, I was staying in Boston the whole time. And he, had to uproot his family. We talked about this in the offseason where I wasn't sure if Al's motivation to move across the country was going to be strong enough for him to just say, okay, I'm going to ring chase one more time to try to add to the resume. Excuse me. I think he wants to be like a lock Hall of Famer, which I think he kind of is anyway, considering his pro career. It was really good. The stats aren't like jumping off the page, but he has the longevity of being really, really good, and the championship in Boston and 2 college championships. I think he has the Basketball Hall of Fame criteria, but he wants one more, and having 2 championships is better than having one. And why are you in the league if you're not competing for a championship at his age, right? So I think if Jayson was there, couple of things. Horford would have stuck around, and I'm not sure the Celtics make the exact same moves that they did. Or maybe they do. Maybe they do, and you just say, hey, you're getting Anthony Simons, and you're keeping Al Horford, and what you don't do is you don't sign Chris Boucher. And that's the trade-off, right? Or maybe you don't sign Luka Garza. Maybe it's those things are hypotheticals, but I think if Tatum was here and healthy, it just adds another layer, another dimension to this team that Horford would have said between JT, JB, me, Peyton, like we have enough. In the East, you can look at that and say, we have enough. The Cavs are good, but you look at some projections, and some of the projections don't look like love the Cavs. Some of the projections, I saw something about ESPN simulating the season in Orlando was at the top of the East. So even like the models aren't sure what to do with the Eastern Conference. So if Tatum doesn't get hurt, Horford sticks around, that changes some of the dynamic. It certainly changes some of the rebounding because Tatum would have been in there to grab some rebounds. And like we said yesterday, the rebounding issues that the Celtics have, that I think gets solved by just getting 4 or 5 more rebounds, and Tatum would be in there to get 4 or 5 more rebounds because he averages like 10. So I understand where Horford is coming from, and it's up to him and his family. And if the family's like, yeah, sure, let's go live in San Francisco, then sure, then go for it, right? If his family had said, absolutely not, we don't want to move, we don't want to go to San Francisco, we're not doing this, then maybe Al would have said, all right, fine. He did say that he never really considered retirement, even though there were reports that he was. I don't know where that would have gone if his family had kind of like put their foot down. But the reason why Al is gone is because Jayson got hurt. And you just knew that this team was not going to be a serious title contender. And when you look at this team without Tatum and with all the moves that they made, what is Al Horford going to do to help this team? He can do some, but at 39, he wasn't moving the needle. What's he going to win? A couple of games for the Celtics? He certainly, could have helped with some rebounding, but he's never been a huge rebounder. So he would have helped some. Obviously, he's Al Horford. He's good still, but it still wouldn't have moved the needle, and he knows that. If he thought he would have moved the needle, he might have stayed because he loves Boston. His family loves Boston. There's no doubt about that. So tough to hear that Al kind of confirmed the stuff that we thought. I'd hoped that Al would finish his career in Boston. He got his title. I thought just finishing it out here would have been nice. Maybe 2 more years. You get one of those JT years when he came back. Who knows? But anyway, that's what Al Horford said, and you got to respect his decision. All right, when we come back, a conversation with Trishtan Williams, director of The Starting Five, the new Netflix series, this time including Jaylen Brown. That is next. Today's show is brought to you by FanDuel. NFL season is here. NBA season is here. FanDuel has an offer you absolutely do not want to miss. If you're not a customer yet, sign up now. Become a new customer, and that $5 bet that you place can get you $300 in bonus bets if you win. I saw that the Patriots opened up at 7.5, I think, favorites over Tennessee. Big number, but Tennessee's not great. So if you want to put that $5 on the Patriots, then go ahead. If it hits, you unlock $300 in bonus bets. Now that can go to building parlays, player props, follow live lines during games. Maybe you don't want to bet the game right away. Maybe that $5 bet is waiting for the game flow, and then you see where the line moves, and you can bet in game after the first quarter, after the second, at halftime. So those you have a lot of different options. So whether you're a casual fan or if you love diving into the stats, FanDuel makes the game day experience so much better. Make sure you're signing up for their budgeting tools. You set your limits because they offer that as soon as you sign in. Take advantage of it. Set whatever you can afford to lose. That's what you set the limit at. So if you have a cold streak, you're not going overboard. Nobody wants that. You're just spending some of your disposable income on having some fun on game day. So go check it out at FanDuel.com to download the FanDuel app today and get started. Thank you for making Locked On Celtics your first listen every day. Check out Locked On Fantasy Basketball with Josh Lloyd. It's the best, absolute number one fantasy basketball podcast in the world. Check it out. He's going to help you win your league. He's going to help you become a smarter fan. Wherever you get your podcasts, that's where you'll find the Locked On Fantasy Basketball podcast, and it's also on YouTube. The next season of The Starting Five debuts on Netflix it's on Thursday. So I'm recording on Wednesday night, October 14th. On Tuesday night, October 14th. Wednesday is the 15th. On the 16th, Thursday, the new season of The Starting Five begins. You have Jaylen Brown, along with Kevin Durant, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Tyrese Haliburton, and James Harden. It is fascinating. I've started watching it. It is fascinating. So I got a chance to talk to the director, one of the directors, Tristan Williams. Here's my conversation with her. First of all, so happy to talk to you. This is a very exciting time. The Celtics fans get to see a second episode, a second version of this with another one of their superstars. So keep it a little Celtic centric to start. Like, what were your impressions of Jaylen Brown? What do you think Celtics fans can expect from the Jaylen Brown portion of this?
I think, first off, when you do a show like this in a magnitude, you coming off of them being the champs. And so now they're defending champs and everybody is gunning for them. And then coming from, when they just won, he was MVP. So it was only right for us to include him into the cast. It's very nice because then the rest of your cast have something to seek. Now you have somebody that you're trying to overcome. You're trying to take them down. When you think about Jaylen, I think the fans are going to get he's so somber, what the fans say, or you don't know much about him, but you're going to learn, like, he has personality. He is he's a real thinker. So everything that people think like, oh, he's into school, he is. And I think that's the beautiful part about it, because it's like, well, can you be a basketball player and can you be a true thinker in that magnitude? And like, he can, like, he's amazing. And you're going to learn that when it comes to the financials, he's very smart about his financials and how he goes about things. I don't want to give any spoiler alerts, but it's one of those, like, okay, I can learn a thing or two from this man and how he worked his career and the trajectory that he's on.
What's the challenge? You've got, look, I'm behind the scenes too, covering the team, and I see cameras all over the place, and you just never know who's with who and all of that stuff. What's the challenge of not only chronicling an NBA player throughout the entire course of a season, road trips, practices, workouts, private time, all that stuff, but then distilling it down to the few episodes that you have and being able to properly convey who knows how many hundreds of hours of video that you have?
The challenge there is you're watching a lot of footage hit the chopping block, right? And so you can't be married to anything because it's so good, but you have to stick to the themes and what helps drive story, weave through all of the players. So what makes that easy is because chronologically, they're all on the same schedule. So that's how you marry, like, if he gets to play against Shea, then it's nice because you start with someone's story, you weave out of that story into the next person's story. So if you simplify it and pull away from all of the cameras, then this is why you have such a big team behind the scenes. So thank you to our entire team. You have 1 million story producers as this footage is coming in and breaking this stuff down. And how does this world marry with this world? And how can we make it make sense? It's about being very meticulous and organized. The challenge in the field when you're dealing with all those cameras, it's not a challenge for me, but because I think it comes from just having respect that everyone has a job to do and not trying to overpower and trump other people, but just be there and get what you need and understand that everything, you got to like let the noise go and you got to stay focused to what the goal is that day. So
are you guys just good, or how lucky are you? You had Shea, you had Tyrese, you have Jaylen, obviously. I mean, it's easy to pick Jaylen, I guess, because like you said, they won a championship, but like you picked two guys who were in Game 7 of the NBA Finals together. I mean, at what point is this going on, you guys? Oh my God, we might actually get from day one to the literal final day of the NBA season. At some point, you guys are like look at each other and go like a high five, like I can't believe we got this lucky.
We are that good, but we also call it TV magic. And kudos, it's an entire team creatively when you're going through the process to add people, right? So we're getting lucky. I think we're lucky charms, but we're getting lucky in these spaces to have two players. You have to understand when Tyrese Halliburton started, his season wasn't going so great. So actually we were like, oh my goodness, how do you deal with that, right? But then as a storyteller, you love the ebbs and flows, and kudos to Sammy, who was directly over Halliburton. But the ebbs and flows there, when you have such a hard time, and then it's a roller coaster, and you find yourself at the top of the hill once it's all said and done, and the world gets to be with you through the process behind the scenes and your real thinking. I mean, it's magic. It's magic. So I think we're just getting lucky. We don't have any real science behind it. No one's giving us any like, hey,
you didn't get the NBA script ahead of time.
No scripts. And so you see all the stuff on social media, somebody's giving them something. Like, how do you make that happen? Honestly, we feel so honored because we're like, this is TV magic, and we are just very, very lucky that two of our players actually found themselves in the finals together.
It is kind of funny to see all that. From the Boston perspective, Jaylen's season, the injuries and all of that, how do you manage telling the story of a guy who publicly, when I'm asking him questions, the knee's good. Behind the scenes, you're telling the story of he's limping, he's hurting. You can tell that he's in pain. Like, what's the balance there?
The balance is getting trust, right? And whatever they're displaying to the world or not, it's our job to document it. It's not our job to spoil anything. So you're watching a person who is a warrior, and when you watch the show, you'll understand why he's such a warrior, and that upbringing, who was in his family, who's pushed him to think this strong. And so when you're a champion and when you are a real contender and you want to play, you're not going to tell anybody anything. More so, like, if you're telling your competitors, hey, this part of me hurt, they're going to go after you harder in that area. So it's actually very smart to not let the world know where you're lacking, because it's just going to make your job harder.
Do you guys get pushback? Like, I got a little bit of an advanced screening, and this is I think is in the trailer, so I'm not giving anything away. James Harden talking about his girlfriend. He's like, why did I sign up for this? Is there any massaging halfway through that you go, hey, whoa, you did sign up for this? Come on, let's bring it back. Come on, open up a little bit.
It's so funny that you say that. Everybody want to give pushback, and it's my job to do a great job to get them to trust me and to say whatever we film, we're gonna display that in the greatest respects, right? And so there is apprehensiveness, and this is what I love about James' story, because no one knows anything about this man his entire career. So for him to sign up and be willing at this phase to say, I'm going to let it all out, I feel very honored that he did that. So is there pushback? They get a little scared, and it's when you're being vulnerable. But then I get them to understand this is why you're here, but trust us, we're going to do the edit so well that it shouldn't be a fallout from anything. And when he said that moment, like, I don't know why I signed up for this. It's funny because I'm asking all these questions, and it's like, oh my goodness, okay, here we go. So it's a really good moment. And I love it. James Harden he's a rock star, and we loved having him.
I am I think maybe the most surprising thing I've seen so far is James Harden saying, I'm really in love. Like, really? James Harden, Mr. Party Guy. Okay. All right. So that's an interesting little early dynamic. It is funny because when I first heard the lineup, I was like, well, I'm probably just going to skip past the James Harden stuff. And you immediately okay, no, I'm going to go very deep into I'm invested now. I'm invested.
So that's the thing, right? It's the job to pull the curtains back, and a lot of the questions, as a great storyteller, you're answering questions that the audience or people have had for decades, right? So that's her job, is to get there and to peel that onion and really dive and dig deep and get you to express something that you've never expressed to the media ever. So he's actually one of my favorite stories too. I love all of their stories, but he's one of my favorite.
How much of a competition is social media in all of this? I feel like nowadays it's a battle because guys feel like they can control their own narrative.
Mm-hmm.
Why do I need to tell you anything? Why do I need to that? It certainly applies to me when it's a very, very guarded thing.
Yes.
You talk about trust. These guys, they trust very few people, and they have their own outlets. Jaylen Brown right now is probably still, he's on a 24/7 Twitch stream at this point. It's crazy to see how much he's opened up on his own.
Yes.
What's the challenge there of, I know you've got all this, but you got to trust me to tell your story.
It's a part of reputation, right? I have a great reputation of your favorite producer, and I did not give myself that title. The world gave it to me. And I think that trust factor comes from being vulnerable and honest about your own life, and then a body of work to say, okay, I know you don't operate in this manner, so I'm going to trust you right now in this very moment. And then and it comes from their teams. Let's give their teams credit. There's a real vetting process before you start filming and talking about everything and how we're going to go about it and how we're going to film it, and try to keep a skeleton crew where you don't have a million people in your home at one time. The cool thing I think about that, a lot of those intimate moments is it could be me actually behind the camera filming, right? And so if you have that person, you already have a great relationship with me. So if I'm filming you and I'm just asking you questions, your guard is down. You're just talking normal, and that's where you get that trust.
All right, let's wrap this up let's finish up on Jaylen Brown.
Okay.
Without giving away anything, we'll call this a tease.
Okay.
What's your
cliffhanger?
Yeah, let's give people your favorite part, maybe your favorite thing you've learned about Jaylen. You got a little bit about it before, but like a thing that when fans see it, maybe they're going to be like, oh, wow, didn't really understand that about Jaylen.
The fans will learn that what you don't know is he's a real family man. And that goes first. That comes first. And you'll see why. It's a lot of things that happen behind the scenes, and he takes his family very serious.
Okay. Well, we're looking forward to that. This is going to be great. Like I said, I've seen the first almost through episode 2. So
okay.
lots of good dynamics. You know, it starts out with Tyrese Halliburton. You know, one of the first things you see is Tyrese Halliburton crying. That's what I wanted to see behind the scenes with the injury. You got Shea winning a championship, like agony of defeat, thrill of victory, the old ABC Wild World of Sports. I mean, that's your starting point. And then, like I said, you got to throw James Harden in love and Jaylen Brown, you know, doing his thing. So it's going to be a lot of fun. So thank you so much for taking some time out to talk about this.
Thank you for having me, John. It was such a pleasure. These questions were fun.
Fun conversation there with Trishtan. Again, October 16th. That is Thursday. The new season of Starting Five debuts on Netflix with Jaylen Brown, along with Kevin Durant, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Tyrese Halliburton, and James Harden. It is fun, super interesting. Remember, Jaylen goes through a lot with his family, with himself. Obviously, getting all the way to the playoffs and Jayson getting hurt and all of that stuff. It's all in there. So check it out on Thursday. Thank you for watching the Locked On Celtics podcast. Thank you for listening to the Locked On Celtics podcast. Really do appreciate you being with me every Monday through Friday. Bonus podcasts when they play on the weekends. So make sure you're subscribed. The show is everywhere. Get into the comment section, share your thoughts, and then share the podcast. Tell everybody they should be listening to and watching the Locked On Celtics podcast here on the Locked On Podcast Network. It's your team every day.